I am Maria Garcia de Fleury. Luigi Goretti, along with his wife Assunta and their 6 children, shared a home near Rome, Italy, in an abandoned factory on the landowner's property where Giovanni worked as a farmer. Then they began to share the house with another tenant named Giovanni Serenelli, who lived with his 16-year-old son Alessandro. The farm was in a swampy, humid area full of mosquitoes. The work was exhausting. Luigi Goretti contracted malaria and died. Assunta had to go to work in the fields. She left her eldest daughter, 10-year-old Maria, in charge of taking care of the younger siblings and cooking for both families. Mary was a young girl, mature for her age, and had a strong devotion to Jesus and to our Blessed Mother. Every day at night, the two families prayed the rosary together, and on holidays, they walked 7 miles to attend Mass at the nearest church. Alessandro was kind but lonely. He enjoyed the pornography that he had known as a child when he lived among workers. His thoughts became increasingly lustful and violent, and the object of his desires was Maria. For months, Alessandro fought against these tendencies, but finally succumbed to them and tried to force himself on her. He expected an easy victory, but the girl fought valiantly. No, no, she cried. Never. That's a sin. Maria's resistance simply made Alessandro angrier. One day, when everyone else was in the field, Alessandro forced Maria into the house and threatened her. But when she again resisted with all her might, he stabbed her 14 times. Maria died the next day. Before dying, she said, I forgive Alessandro and I want him to be with me in heaven for all eternity. Alessandro was tried for murder and sentenced to 30 years of hard labor, even though Assunta begged for a light sentence. He was placed in solitary confinement for 3 years for his bad behavior in prison. But in 1908, he had a dream in which he saw a beautiful garden and Maria Goretti dressed in white walking towards him. As she walked, she cut lilies and gave them 1 lily for each of the 14 times he had stabbed her 6 years earlier. Every lily he received became a flame. When he woke up, Alessandro knew that both Maria and God had forgiven him. He started to change. His anger disappeared and his behavior became docile. His change was so evident that he was released 3 years earlier in 1929. On Christmas Eve 1934, he gathered his courage and went to the town where Assunta, Maria's mother, worked in a parish. He looked for her and asked her, Assunta, do you recognize me? You forgive me? Alessandro asked with a lump in his throat. Assunta responded, if God has already forgiven you, do you think I am not going to do it? 2 years later, Alessandro entered the Capuchin Franciscan monastery where he worked tending to the practical needs of the monastery so that others would have more time to pray. Maria Goretti was noted for her love for the Eucharist and her devotion for our Blessed Mother. She died defending her purity, forgiving her murderer for the love of God, because she knew that with God we always win.